Apologies for all the beeping you might hear from next door. Hopefully I can tweak it out in the edit, but we'll see. So if you hear a bit of beeping, it's the next door reversing all their stuff. So I've just come back from the NEC show up in Birmingham and had a look at some of the products, which are really good. And also from what I've been saying recently about manufacturers still building inherent issues into the products, it seems to be that they're turning the corner with that, and they're starting to look at that issue. The other issue that I come up against time after time from consumers as well as dealers is this warranty issue. It seems to be the root of all the evils. Now, I've been thinking about it, and I've also been able to see parallels between other things that I've been dealing with in my career. And the warranty issue, I think, is the core of the problem, because the dealers, so the consumer expects that if you buy a caravan from wherever, then you can take it to any dealer and have their warranty work done. This isn't the case. I've done videos on this before, which I'll link to at the end, as to exactly why that isn't. But it kind of boils down to money. Unfortunately, the manufacturers don't pay the kind of rates that the dealers are used to and that they can get for selling normal service packages and things like that. So it's around about £75–80 an hour, whereas the manufacturers can pay as little as £45–55 an hour. And also then they don't pay for the kind of logistics of finding out what that problem is and then putting the problem on the system and then receiving all the parts. So they don't pay for any of that. So actually, when you look at a warranty claim, as soon as someone comes in and says they've got a warranty claim, you think, oh, I'm not going to make money on that. So that is the biggest issue. A lot of dealers are reluctant to do the warranty work for that. That's the first reason. The other reason is because their workshops are busy with dealing with their own customers. They also think that if you bring your caravan into them for warranty work, you've bought it elsewhere because you've gone away and got a better price somewhere. Now that's pretty ingrained into a lot of the dealers, and it was certainly ingrained into me. But it's not actually doesn't actually happen to be the case very often. In my career, I've had it 2 or 3 times, and you know, I always ask people, oh, why didn't you buy the caravan off of us? If they could have bought it off of us, sometimes they couldn't do. They said, well, I went up the line because you couldn't do the deal that I wanted, and they were £500 cheaper. In that case, I have turned around and say, well, look, I'm sorry, go up to that dealer, because, you know, to be completely honest, it did annoy me. If you're not going to support us, then unfortunately we're not going to support you. But that is very rare. It doesn't happen that often. There's lots of other reasons why people will go to their local dealer with a product that they've got. Maybe they've moved into the area, maybe that local dealer couldn't get the product that they had and they had to go elsewhere to get it. There's far more reasons for that to be the case, rather than that reason where, you know, look, if you've wanted to save some money and you've gone up the road to get it, then hard cheese kind of things. That doesn't happen very often. So if you have bought the caravan off the main dealer that's close to you and you take it back for warranty, they do have a legal obligation to do that. And also they've got some money in that sale. So hopefully they've made some profit on it. I think in recent years that probably hasn't happened because of this kind of glut of stock. So a lot of dealers have been discounting their stock heavily just to kind of move them off the finance lines. And the main focus has been to keep the business afloat rather than to make a profit. So there's quite a few dealers out there that probably haven't made a huge amount of profit, if any, in the last couple of years, because of the issues we've had with the slowdown and excess stock being in the market. So as that washes through, hopefully they'll be able to start making a profit on it. But if you come in with a van that they have sold to you, then in theory, technically, they should have some money in it, so that £45 an hour labour rate, or £55 an hour labour rate, whatever it is kind of taken up a little bit with the profit they've made on it. But unfortunately, you can't do that too many times before that maybe small amount of profit that they've made on it, because they've taken decisions to discount that caravan heavily, then that gets taken up. So they're still reluctant to do warranty, but they have to do it anyway if they've sold you the product. So if you have taken your caravan into a local dealership and they won't do your warranty work, I think that's a short-sighted view, because you can actually apportion a amount of money to gaining a customer through advertising and stuff. So if you have a customer stood in front of you that's got a problem, and it's going to cost you a little bit of money to do that warranty work, then for me, that figure that you would have spent to gain that customer, you apportion that to putting it to the warranty work. Because if you do help that customer out, the vast majority of customers that you would help out and solve their problem would appreciate it, and they would stick with you. That happens far more often than someone who has bought a caravan elsewhere to save some money, and then they go up the line again when they want to buy it, knowing that you're going to do the warranty for them, and then you lose that sale again. That is the perception of what happens, but it doesn't happen very often. But because we're paranoid people, that's what we think is happening, but it doesn't happen. So I think it's a short-sighted view. The one thing you can guarantee, if you say no to a customer because you don't want to do the warranty because it's going to cost you money, is they won't come back to you. The other thing you can guarantee is that good news travels, bad news travels a lot faster. So if you did do the warranty, they might tell some other people that you've done it and you've helped them out. But bad news travels a lot faster. So they then go on the forums on the internet and say, oh, I had a bad experience there, don't go there. Especially if someone else says, oh, where did you buy your caravan from? They'll tell them, but don't go to my local dealer because they didn't help me out. So it is a short-sighted view, but I can understand it from both ways. Now, you'll generally find this point of view is different between a large dealer and a small dealer, and some of that is due to the fact that they would have workshop managers that's their job. So all they're worried about is clearing their backlog and doing their job. They're not thinking about the longer term view of, I can retain that customer, and in 4 years' time he might well buy that caravan off us, and then tell other people how good we are. He's probably not thinking about, or she, sorry, is probably not thinking about that level. They're just thinking, no, I've got too many customers of my own to deal with, I can't deal with you, so therefore off you go. If you go to a smaller dealer that is the dealer principal, as well as managing the whole business, like myself, when someone comes in, I do have the PR hat on as well as the monetary hat. So when someone comes in, I think I'm going to lose money on that, and that's the first thing that comes into my mind. And then my PR hat goes on and go, actually, no, hang on, say yes, because then the likelihood is they're going to come back to you and they're going to tell other people how good you are. So in a small dealership environment like we have here, and in a kind of an area where everyone talks to each other, then it is a positive thing to do. But it is very hard to not have a knee-jerk reaction and think I'm going to lose money on that. You have to be a bit more forward thinking. And again, with a large dealership, unfortunately, you don't get that kind of level, and unless the dealer principal actually installs that ethos into that workshop manager, then they're not going to get it, because they're under pressure to do their own work, and some of the large dealerships have got months worth of stuff backed in into their workshop schedules, and sometimes it's like, yes, we will do it, but it will be at the end of whenever we can, when we've solved our own problems, and unfortunately that never happens. So that might be the difference between a large dealership and a smaller dealership. You might well get a better response from a smaller dealership. So there is a short-term view from the dealers, and I think it's better to see the long-term view, but also it comes from the manufacturers as well. I think a short-term saving leads to long-term damage. If they could promote a better warranty program, then the dealers would be much keener to do it, and therefore the consumer would then benefit from that as well. Now, the reason I say that is because I have dealt with many different companies over my period of working in the caravan industry, and the one thing that stood out is when I was dealing with PowerTouch, a motor mover company, obviously, as you probably know. Now, their warranty was second to none. So we could sell the product, make our small amount of profit on it, but the warranty wasn't anything to do with us. So if a customer had a problem, they would phone PowerTouch direct. They would then send someone out to fix that problem. So then when Truma or Reich or whoever comes in to says, I want you to sell our movers, I say, okay, well, what happens if it goes wrong? And they say, well, you have to send someone out, or they have to bring it back in, and then you have to put a claim in and all this kind of stuff. Bearing in mind that you make £200 or £300 on one of those, it's not worth the bother. But then when you've got PowerTouch saying, well, don't worry about it, we'll sort that out, who am I going to sell? It's going to be PowerTouch. And that's why they got so big, because from whoever I spoke to as a dealership, they said, well, I only sell PowerTouch, I don't sell trim or right, because it means that I don't have to worry about the warranty. And that is exactly what I think the first manufacturer to crack this warranty issue will achieve, because then, say if there was a perfect world and Eldis or Swift or Bailey said, right, don't worry about the warranty, sell the product, we'll look after the warranty. If you've got the other manufacturers that aren't doing that on the forecourt, who are you going to push? You're going to push that manufacturer that says, don't worry about the warranty, we've got our own guys that will go out and do it, or we'll pay you, a strong amount of money to do it, and we'll make the processes a lot easier to get the parts. That's the other thing, is that when you start the warranty process, it's very difficult to get all the parts together. Now, some manufacturers are better at doing that. They'll give you a kind of a lump of things that you need to do, like a package. So say you're fixing a shower tray or something on a Coachman, they tend to send you everything you need. Whereas you do that thing with Swift, and you have to remember to order that and that and that and that. And then it takes quite a time to do it. And also the systems as well are also quite hard to actually understand. You think that, oh, I just want to order that part, but they don't call it what that part is that you think it is. So you have to send off a parts inquiry to get that back. So it's a long-winded structure from the very beginning to the very end. And that's why we get frustrated as dealers, having trying to have to work it. So if in a magic world you could take all of that away, and you were selling a product but you didn't have to deal with any of the warranty, then, like I said, you would sell that product all day long, the same as that we were doing with the PowerTouch. Trumer and Wright came to me and I said, there's just no way I'm going to deal with your product when I don't have to do anything with PowerTouch. It was just a fantastic way of doing it. So I think the manufacturers, now I've always say this, is it's dead easy for me to sit here in a Caravan and say, yeah, this is what they should do, but yeah, that there were probably lots of things in the way that would halt that. I mean, it's going to be infrastructure, it's going to be money, it's going to be investment, it's going to be the major key things that would stop this from happening. But again, that is a short-term view, is I'm going to save some money and only pay the dealers £45 an hour. The long-term view is, well, if I can solve this problem, then the dealers are going to be selling our product over and above everything else, and then we can get into a position where we're selling much more product than everyone else, and you're making money long term. But it is a risky strategy, but I think if one of the manufacturers actually did it or started to go down that route, I think they would see it pay dividends. So then I thought the next stage would be that if the warranty was taken away from the dealerships and it was taken in-house, then that means that the manufacturers could then deal with a network of engineers that could go out to that Caravan and have a look at it. Now that would be slightly tricky if they're mobile, but if they had workshops and things like that, it might be a bit easier. Again, a utopia kind of way of doing it. But there's already a structured network of engineers in the approved workshop scheme. That if they were being paid good money and the training was good, then they may well jump at the chance to actually work more closely with the manufacturers and take it away from that supplying dealer. Now, I know, again, there's probably legal reasons, because the supplying dealer is technically has to do this warranty work, and it isn't technically anything to do with the dealer. So I think that was probably the stumbling block for all this anyway. But like I say, I'm just kind of throwing this out there just to see what people think. But yeah, using the approved workshop scheme network would maybe be a good thing to do. Now, the best way to avoid all this hassle is to make a Caravan that doesn't have much warranty in the first place. And that is what I've said very early on, is that the manufacturers are looking at doing that. And to me, that's the no-brainer thing, is if you don't have any warranty, then occasionally doing some warranty work and some smaller stuff here and there, the dealers won't mind. But when it's big work and you see it time and time again and you know what's going to happen, that's when it gets frustrating. So it's down to the manufacturers to produce something that doesn't have warranty, and I know that they're working hard to do that. And again, that isn't an overnight thing. Having said that, they've been building them a long time, so you'd have thought they would have kind of got to the point now where the warranty issues are a thing of the past, especially when you can look at historical warranty issues and say, right, we've had this happening for the last 6 years, well, why don't we fix it? And I think hopefully that's what they're starting to do now, because they have to, because the market is shrinking. And again, when something isn't so when you're not getting the revenue in so much, you have to start looking at where you can save money, and warranty is certainly one thing they can do. So again, the holy grail would be to have a caravan that doesn't have any warranty, and then all these issues go overnight. The amount of dealers that I spoke to at the show about warranty, you can see that as soon as you mention it, pretty much every dealer says that the warranty situation with every single manufacturer isn't good. Depending on who you speak to, it's whether the money's not enough, whether it's a pain to do, and all this kind of thing. So that is something that they really need to sort out. Now, the only thing that's actually in the manufacturer's favour at the moment is pretty much all of them are fairly similar. Is that you have problems with all of manufacturers, so it's not like one sticks out as particularly bad. One might be slightly better, but that's what I'm saying. One of the dealers, if one of the manufacturers actually comes out and does something completely different and solves the problem, then that is where the dealers are going to gravitate to, because we always go to the least path of resistance. So if it's easy to do, we're going to do it. So if a manufacturer starts to put some time and effort into really solving this problem and invest in it over the long term, then I think that would be where the dealers would go. Is they go, well, it's dead easy to deal with these guys, I'm going to sell that thing, because you end up making more money per unit, because it's not going out the door 2 or 3 years down the line when you have to do the warranty, and it's costing you money. So that's my thoughts. Pop in the comments what you think. Just to summarise, I think that the first manufacturer to come out and change the way that they've been doing something for a number of years, like I said, would reap the rewards by the dealers wanting to deal with them. And therefore, if they can get a bigger share of the market, that means they're getting more profit. That means they can put more money into those systems as well. And I think that would work going forward. But it has to, one manufacturer has to kind of come out and start doing it and really look at that. But I think that's the entry, that's the line they have to draw and say, right, we need to sort that out, and then everything else will follow. But you also have to make the product that's good, so that you don't have the warranty in the first place. But those two things combined, I think if they can get that right, and make it easier for the dealers and make it easier for the end user, because as soon as you get a problem with a certain manufacturer and you have a warranty issue, you then think, oh, I've got to deal with that. And then when you go to your local dealer and they don't want to deal with it, then it gives you problems, and it makes the whole process of owning a caravan or a motorhome, which is supposed to be a nice thing to do, and you're supposed to go away with it and have no trouble. When you do have trouble, it starts to really impact in everyone's lives, and you have to do a 4-hour trip to take it back to your dealer or whatever. It's not a good thing to do. So therefore, that means that the whole experience will be better, and then more people will do it. So it has this kind of positive effect throughout everything. So it's again, it's easy for me to say all this and sit here and say, well, why don't they just do this? But there's probably several reasons why they can't, and most of it, I think, is to do with money and then the willingness. But I think the first manufacturer that comes out and does it, I think will really do well. So pop in the comments below what you think. Am I off the mark? Is it impossible to do because of X, Y, and Z? Would it make a difference if you knew that one particular dealer really liked selling that particular caravan because the warranty claims were a lot easier? So you would have at least path of resistance if you did have an issue. So would it make a big difference to you if you knew that warranty claim could be sorted out quickly and efficiently, and the dealers were keen to do it over and above another manufacturer where they're thinking, oh, I don't want to deal with them because it's a pain and I only get paid tuppence halfpenny to do it. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you in the next video.